Hey everyone, this is Collapse and Protect, and today we're going to be putting another 100 rounds through the Emperor Arms SR5 for a torture test.
We've already put 300 shells through the SR5, and now we're going to beat it up and put 100 more through it.
First, we're just going to start out with dirt, and I'm thinking that this is going to cause some serious problems because there's a lot of space between the back of the bolt and the trigger mechanism, but we'll see what it does. We're just going to sprinkle it on top. Yeah, a lot is getting in there. All right, well, we haven't brushed this thing off at all yet, so we're going to flip it over and see if it'll run. Wow, it did run perfectly. I missed that one shot bigger than shit, but it ran. And take a look at that action. It already had a bunch of carbon buildup from the first 300 shells, but now it's pretty dirty too. All right, let's load it back up and shove some more in this thing.
I repeated this process 4 times. Shoot it, shove dirt in it. Shoot it, shove dirt in it. There was so much dirt in the action that it was falling out. That's a lot of stuff inside an action rattling around that could potentially cause issues.
Apparently this thing is like an AK-47. It's got so much space inside of it that just cramming dirt in there doesn't seem to matter.
But the SR5 just continued to run. Despite pouring dirt into every crevice that I could reach in this thing, the action just kept cycling, albeit throwing out a lot of debris in the meantime. But that's exactly what you want your weapon to do. Shed any type of contaminants that may find its way into the action. So dry dirt clearly hasn't stopped the SR5, but mud is an entirely different story.
All right, we've got our rope and it's tied to our SR5. Got our safety's on, our rope is tied, and we're gonna chuck her in the pond. Woo! She's coming back. She's coming back. Oh, that is pretty nasty. Let's see if it shoots. We're not gonna help it much. Give it a shake. Safety's off. Oh. Okay, so we had one hang up, but after that, it fed just fine. And oh my God, look at this thing. That is really nasty. It's all sorts of gunked up in there. I'm surprised it ran, period. All right, well, this thing still hasn't been cleaned since I got it. We had one hiccup. Let's see if it's gonna keep running for us just like it is. Oh, that is stiff. All right, so we might not make it without a little help, but guys, remember, this is way more abuse than any gun should be able to take. You should never treat any of your firearms like this. If you are, you're doing something really, really wrong. We are really being excessive here. It should never undergo this type of torture in the field.
And this is really where we started to have issues. The SR5 would chug through a couple of shells and then promptly fail to chamber the next one. Nothing a good slap against the bolt couldn't fix, but that's very clearly a malfunction, and one that we weren't having before.
This isn't gun related, but look, I found a little turtle. Look at how little he is. What an absolute unit. All right, so we've had a few issues now, a couple malfunctions, and it's safe to say that this thing did not like the mud. Not surprising, the Emperor Arms HD12, I was able to get past the mud by just using my muscle to pump the action, but this SR5 relies on one big spring right here, and that's definitely not gonna match the amount of force that I'm able to exert with my arms in order to pump this action back. So we're gonna give it a rinse and see if it'll keep running. Oh, geez. That's a lot of dirt coming out of there. Oh my God. That is insane. Get the trigger too. That is so much dirt that just came out of there. We might need to give it a second bottle, we'll see. All right, let's see what we got. Having the same issue. Failure to extract and failure to feed. Okay, it locked open.
I gave it another bath just to make sure that I couldn't get it running again without taking it apart, and then I took it apart.
Well, I think that's where we're gonna stop tonight. It keeps having this same malfunction where the shell carrier pops up here and the bolt doesn't want to quite go into battery, but if you tap on the shell carrier just a little bit, it'll slide forward. So hopefully that's not a part that was bent out of spec during the torture test. Hopefully it just needs a little bit of lubricant, because it's not consistent. Look at that. It only does it sometimes. Like that. Anyway, I'm gonna completely tear this thing down, clean it out, and then re-oil it, and maybe that'll fix our problem. If it doesn't, I'll contact the manufacturer and see what we can do about it.
Look at all the gunk that I was able to get out of that thing on the rag. Now our SR5 is shiny clean and well lubricated again. The break-in's going well because the action's extremely smooth now.
Okay, so we're back at the range the next day after a deep clean of the SR5, and we have no more issues. The bolt goes forward 100% of the time. Let's see if we can finish up these 100 shells.
The action definitely isn't sticking, so that's a good sign. And every part of the SR5 feels better than new again.
All right, let's see if she runs. Oh yeah.
So it seems like the SR5 just didn't like mud. That's not a big surprise. If you pack mud into the action of any firearm, it's going to fail. But the mud didn't bend any parts inside of the SR5 out of spec, and that's why it passed the torture test. It's still serviceable and it works, even after all that abuse. Now the SR5's got 400 shells through it. In the next video, we're gonna make it 500 and build it out into the combat shotgun that it deserves to be. Thanks for watching, have fun, and be safe.